Translating everything in your head is slow and frustrating, and it's time to learn how to stop. I'm Christina, and welcome to Speak English with Christina, where you'll learn to boost your English, boost your career, and feel good about yourself. And like every week, today I am going to help you move one step closer to feeling more confident about speaking and understanding real American English. Let's go. When I was learning French, for a while, I struggled with translating in my head. It's a bad habit to have, but almost all of us go through it. You start by thinking of what you want to say, generally in your own language. Then you translate it into English, and then you say it in English. And that's a very slow process. Bonjour, mon nom est Christina et je viens de les Unis États. Et tu? That's a lot of work, and you don't do that in your native language. You just think of what you want to say and it comes out naturally. And if you want to speak English more naturally and more fluently, yeah, you got to get up to that next level. But the good news is that you can learn to stop translating in your head and speak more naturally. When I arrived in France, I didn't know how to really speak French. Like, I was good at classroom French. I was really good in my French classes, and I knew, the verb conjugations. I knew the vocabulary, the grammar structures. Okay, I made some mistakes with like masculine and feminine, and I still do. But even with all of that, I always had to take the time to think about what I wanted to say in English first, then to try to translate it into French, and then to try to put it into spoken French. And at the same time, thinking about, am I pronouncing this correctly? Am I conjugating the verb correctly in that sentence? Are my words in the correct order? Yeah, and usually by the end of this process, it was like the conversation just continued on. I was trying to speak, but it was very slow. I felt very embarrassed. And, that just doesn't work. So I realized that if I wanted to keep up in the conversations, if I wanted to stay in the flow, if I wanted to be able to, feel like myself in this other language, well, I just had to stop translating in my head. I had to stop translating everything, and I just needed to do it directly in the language, in French, without taking all that time to translate. It doesn't work. And there are techniques to learn how to do this, which we're going to get into right now. Because the thing is, this is also going to help you speak better, like more correct English, because in different languages, we don't structure things the same way. The grammar is different. And when you're just learning directly in English, thinking directly in English, and not trying to do like word for word translations, you're going to sound more natural. You're going to be more correct. And we're going to start by switching the way that you use your brain. The first technique is, surprise, to start thinking in English. Now, don't worry about making mistakes here because it's only thoughts. Nobody hears them. And I know maybe that you're thinking, yes, but Christina, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to learn the wrong things. And actually, it's better to train your brain to think in English with a couple of mistakes than to do nothing, because what you're trying to do here is to switch your brain over to thinking in English. Chunk alert, to switch something over to something means to stop one thing or process and to start doing another process. So if you want to switch your brain over to English, you want to stop thinking in your native language and start thinking directly in English. So after you start training your brain in English, you next need to train your muscles to create the sounds of English so that when you're speaking, it just feels natural to you. Because speaking a language is a physical activity. No, not that kind of physical activity, but you need to get your muscles into the habit of forming English sounds. Chunk alert, to get into the habit of doing something means to progressively develop the habit of doing something. So you need to get your muscles into the habit of physically forming the sounds of English. And I can hear you again from here, but Christina, I don't have anyone to practice speaking with. Well, again, good news. You can speak to anyone, even yourself, or speak to anything. Timia. Timia. Timia, what do you want for dinner? What do you want for dinner? Cat food? That's all we have. That's all you have. You're gonna have cat food, and I'm gonna have a hamburger. Would you like some water? Yes, please. And how was your day today? Fine, thank you. My day was good. Thanks for asking. Would you like some water? No, you don't get water because you will die. All right, what do we have to eat? Maple syrup. Maple syrup. We can make pancakes. Timia? Anybody there? Timia? Trying to have a dialogue with a cat. What do you think about world politics? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Hide your enthusiasm. At least you can practice your English. And if you're talking to yourself, it's a good thing we're doing social distancing right now because nobody will hear you talking to yourself. Even better if you're wearing a mask because nobody will see you talking to yourself. Make English entertaining. Just have fun with it. You can watch movies in English with subtitles, it's okay. You can read, you can follow Twitter accounts in English. Just make it so that it's something that you enjoy doing, but you're also constantly exposed to the English. But this is just the first step because after you need to engage with the English. Because it won't work if you're just passively consuming the English. You actually have to do something with it. You have to interact with it, create something in English. But you want to do anything that is going to help you to, like we said, switch your brain over to English. And let me give you some ideas. For example, for movies, learn the most iconic lines in English or the best jokes, or even just a bit of dialogue that sounds cool and repeat them to yourself. Or you can try to use them in conversations. Songs? When you catch a song that you like, find the lyrics on the internet. What do they mean? And then sing the songs when you're taking a shower, for example. And books. Again, when you read a good line or a good joke or a quote in English, learn it, remember it, and try to use it, maybe when you're writing something. And the internet and social media, how do people talk on the internet, in the communities that you find? Start responding to interesting posts, the ones that make you think in English. And in all these situations, your brain works the same way. By repeating these things, by getting these expressions, learning these chunks, you're going to create shortcuts in your memory so that you don't have to think and translate word for word. You just know that expression or that sentence or that quote or whatever it is that you just want to like get out quickly from your mouth in English. And this is going to help you to learn more quickly because all of these expressions that you're learning, these chunks and these fixed expressions, they'll become part of your mental toolbox. And then you can use them quickly and confidently in English. And as you practice and as you consume more English but also engage with it, you're going to learn more and more of these expressions, which means that you're going to be able to speak more and more fluidly and translate less and less from your native language over to English. And that is what's going to help you to finally stop translating in your head. And now you are one step closer to feeling more confident about speaking and understanding English. Now, if you want to take a few more steps with me, if you want to continue the journey with me, I've got some videos that are going to help you to learn some very common, very useful chunks, expressions, idioms, phrasal verbs in English so that you can start maybe trying out some of these techniques that you learned in this video. Because like I said, it's good to consume and watch and, enjoy the videos, but you want to do something as well. That's what's going to move you step by step closer to more confidence. So I've created a playlist for you so that we can continue learning a little more together. You'll get 5 everyday English expressions that you probably never learned in school but are really useful to know. You'll also get 5 phrasal verbs with get, absolutely essential if you want to speak very natural English. And then you'll also get 6 strange things that Americans say very often, and that if you can use these same expressions, you'll literally be speaking the same language as your American coworkers. All right, thanks for learning with me, and I'll see you in the next episode.